turns to ice within my veins.
From your brute souls to your hell! Pyromancer's path! Stand the heat! Behold the power of mages! Spirits of eternal flame to my aid!
I've tried my very best, and will try and try anew. But so far this damnable ice scoffs at my every effort. Damnation! Not even a crack!
sister, we are free! And who is this? Can it be that a frail mortal human faced and bested our own scheming Boreas? This is no mortal, I see. Strange you'd take the guise of a source hunter. But I shall, of course, honor your chosen form. Indeed, I suppose I should have expected that one of your kind would snap our brothers. Boreas always did dance uncomfortably close to the dark arts. But I suppose the others of we elemental monarchs thought it better not to interfere in the affairs of his realm. No, like fools we waited for his pride, his hunger for more and ever more power, to pull us from our own seats of safety and into his sword. We, and with us all the subjects of the realm of Fairy, do owe you our lives, Source Hunter. If, no, not if, but when, we might be of assistance to you in this dimension. I am King Sewer of the Summit Kingdom of Chaldea, brother, alongside the other elemental monarchs, to the unfortunate and insane Boreas. In earlier days, we ruled the four realms of Fairy in relative, but something changed in Boreas. He grew darker somehow, more than was typical of his usual melancholy. We worried, yes, but chose not to intervene. When our brother called the elemental seats to convene in Hyberheim, we were ecstatic. Boreas seemed again interested in the joint rule of Fairy, in upholding the long-established diplomacy of our lands. When we arrived, however, it was not Boreas who greeted us, but a dark figure. A woman with a stare like blackest fire. In her staff she held a demonic power, the likes of which I've never felt. And as we were sucked into its depths, we thought we'd never see the light of Fairy again. I listened closely when I could to Boreas' doings. From what I could tell, it seems this woman had little contact with our deranged brother after the initial exchange of the staff. From what I could tell, she gave him us, contained, and in return he gave her access to his great star stone and scores of imps he'd invited to Hyberheim. After that, the two parted, and I heard little more of the woman. In his fits of madness, Boreas would sometimes bellow abuse about the demon woman. I can only assume he meant the same who trapped us. Source Hunter, it would be my sincerest honor. Take this rune, and use it to summon me when you're near the witch once more. If she can be extracted from Boreas' ice, I'll find a way to make it so.
Well, I settled that in it. We best be on our way then. Let's bring it on to the kingdoms from Rome himself, you know. May our paths cross soon, Source Hunter.
Champion has returned. Have you yet determined how I might repay my debt? It would be an honor to assist the soul who dared to slay the King of Winter.
Woven ice too rare and powerful for mere fire. I don't know how long she'll last within that ice. There must be a way.
There she is. The White Witch.
Not even a
prisoner in
crack.
ice.
I wonder what sorcery, or worse, sorcery, we'll have to use to get her out.
I don't know how long she'll last within that ice. There must be a way.
This is your White Witch, then. And you're sure you want to free her, are you? Even our mad Boreas wouldn't have wasted such precious ice on a petty criminal. But I am in your debt, and I would be remiss not to honor your request. Shield your eyes, Source Hunter, to melt.
Goddess, it's colder than a witch's teat. How very callous of Leandra to entower her only sister in a barren tundra for eternity.
Ikara, you're all right? The ice, King Boreas, and your sister. What a frigid hell you've endured.
And yet not even a frigid hell like this could induce you to put on a shirt, could it, Ahu? My old friend, surely I have you to thank for my salvation.
That honor goes to a pair of talented source hunters, actually. If not for their efforts, I'd be quite uselessly prowling around.
Then perhaps I ought to address my savior directly. Source Hunter, is that the masquerade? Well, what a motley crew we are. Isn't there somewhere a bit warmer we might discuss matters? Ah, yes, of course, of course. Do pardon me. I didn't mean to imply you were very clearly eternal beings in the guise of minor mortals. Not at all. Please, let's do carry on. Oh, yes, I suppose I am. But I do prefer my given name. Ikara, that is. Charmed. But I hope I haven't disappointed my own hero. Am I just as white and witchy as you'd hoped? First things first, Source Hunter. For my freedom, I owe you every imaginable thanks. My soul had withered in this prison, and I might not have survived much longer without your help. Now, about the culprits. My corrupted sister and the mad Winter King. When I realized exactly where, and to whom Leandra was consigning me, I was certain I'd never enjoy the sun's warmth again. But neither she nor I anticipated the Source Hunter. That was her mistake, and my blessing. I never would have imagined Leandra capable of dealing with the likes of Boreas, but she has changed into someone I hardly recognize anymore. My own little sister, if you can imagine it. She was always the more ambitious, the more exacting of us, and she had no fear of the darkness that so often accompanies Source. Her collusion with King Boreas in imprisoning me here confirms my worst fears. She is planning something far greater than I could have anticipated. For this reason, and with a heavy heart, I must ask you, Source Hunter, to find out how far exactly Leandra has become entwined in the dark arts. I take no pleasure in the memory of that night. The thought of hurting anyone or anything is abhorrent to me. But in this, if you've come this far, I trust you've learned that the Counselor was far from a humble civil servant. This doesn't excuse my behavior, but perhaps it can help to explain it. It's a sordid story, to be perfectly frank. Two sisters, a philanderous, treacherous wizard, death and mayhem. Are you sure you're interested in such things? The sparkle in your eye belies your better nature, Source Hunter. Now I know that it is your duty to get to the heart of this. And, in truth, the events of that night were but one part of a larger and much darker matter. A matter in which I'll dare to beg your assistance. Now that terrible night. One night, as I slept, I had a sudden revelation. No dream, but a vision. My sister Leandra and my lover Zandalor. I didn't understand, but I recognized their location. Syceel's King Crab Inn. I arrived and looked through their window, but inside, everything was wrong. Leandra had fled, and Counselor Jake stood over the wizard, a knife in his hand and hate in his eyes. As I watched, he drove the dagger deep into Zandalor's heart, and I was too late to stop him. In that moment, I broke. I saw before me not a man, not even a beast, but evil incarnate. And I used Source to slay him. On the floor lay Zandalor. In my hands, I held Jake's life force. I had sworn never to use Source, but I couldn't walk away. And so I did the unthinkable. I used the Counselor's life to save Zandalor's. He was alive, but only just. Betrayal. Murder. Source. We were all of us guilty now. If you were any other source hunter, I suppose you'd strike me down where I stand after that terrible admission. Fortunately for us both, you are no other source hunter. I hate to extend my own invitation, source hunter, but I believe I ought to accompany you to Zigzax's hideout. Presumptuous, yes, but I'd recognize the imp's essence just about anywhere. Both he and you must learn more about the darkness that has extended itself into our dearest Rivellon. And I believe I know where we must begin. Ah, but unless that's a bear flailing through the threads of time, I do believe Master Zigzax is on his way. Make way, Source Hunter, landing in 3, 2...
Hunters, you've done it! Ikara is free! Ah, what good it does my impish heart to see her safe and bright as ever! We have much to discuss. Come one and all to the end of time. A spot of something warm and the soft glow of the tapestry ought to do us all a bit of good, hmm? There you are, Ikara. Now, if we're done playing hide and seek, let's not waste a jot more time. Oh, I just can't wait to pick your every synapse.
After you, Master Zigzax.
So that's the White Witch, eh? I expected someone a little more evil. I can't say I'd cut her down for mistake, but she sure has fewer horns than I expected.
Here is a woman clearly deserving of respect, Medora. Please, for once, let not your source-addled presumptions cloud your judgment.
Still, one can't help but wonder where the gods have run off to in all this. The void won't spare them, you know. There's no hiding from the great nothing.
Their where and why is of no import. This moment is all there is. The crux is what we do with it.
Mine is but the pen. Theirs is the sword. And this is a time for swords.
But if they succeed, the time of the pen will return. Forever.
So it shall. So it shall.
Why? I see Master Zigzags has upgraded from his shabby little hut at the edge of the hour. From the fairy dimension to the, space-time weaver hunter imp one. What do you call this place again? Ha! Is that so? It seems I have my share to learn about the magical world yet. The end of time. Well, suddenly you're associated... Well, I must say, it's no small relief to find myself in a safe haven among such allies. I believe the answer to that begins centuries ago, when your order was still cutting down so-called dark magicians by the dozens. Ours was a family of born sorcerers, you see. It was in our blood to interact with Source, but our parents were determined to curb the power within us. Still, their meekness wouldn't save them from the Source Hunters. I am, but there is more to our kind than they teach at your academy. Source isn't only blood and madness. It's like lightning, an exquisite current of great power. We sorcerers are like metal steeples. Source is drawn to us and it flows through us. But what so many fail to understand is that Source can be controlled. The power-drunk through history have abused it, and all the world's sorcerers have borne terrible consequences. Tell me, Source Hunter, in all your hours studying the arcane arts, did your great masters ever suggest that perhaps not all sorcerers were evil? Did you ever hear, even once, that some of us were weak and gentle? That we could be simple forest folk healing the sick and frozen each winter? No. I doubt also that they'd mention that one day this hunt of yours would birth a broken soul powerful enough to inch all of Rivellon toward oblivion. No, that would be going too far, and eschewing my own responsibility. I believe Leandra's long fall down did begin at the hands of some of your own order, but it was I who sparked all of this. They came on a quiet morning. My mother was wild with fright and commanded me to hide myself and Leandra outside, among the trees. Even at that young age, we knew not to question her. We climbed high into the branches of a nearby tree, and before we could look away, our parents were cut down without ceremony before our... The Source Hunters sauntered away, wiping their blades with pride. 2 more sorcerers dead, a job well done. From that moment on, everything was different. As we trembled in that tree, our fear and our desperation were so potent that the magic within us began to weave together. Our souls became forged together, our bond unbreakable. We would survive, thrive even, within those woods, never speaking to outsiders. Our soul forge meant that if one of us were to die, the other would instantly perish too. We kept one another close. Leandra's capacity was enormous. Source didn't frighten her, and she delved into that dark well with terrible regularity. I did my best to guide her, but she fast outgrew my admonitions. My sister and I were mired in a solitary existence, witches among the trees when Zandelor came. Leandra especially couldn't leave him be. He was a feast of information, and she wouldn't rest until she'd absorbed every bit of knowledge he offered. Their days were spent on charms, hexes, and the like. At night, Leandra would wander off to practice what she'd learned, and Zandelor and I would settle into our quiet tasks, side by side. We were a content trio, the three of us, but base impulse would undo us. As you know, Leandra and I were soul-forged. This offered us a window into one another's souls. I knew Leandra had developed feelings for Zandelor, and she knew I had too. But it was me to whom he confessed his love. Those quiet evenings together had captured his heart, as they had mine. Her heart broke the moment we announced our new attachment, and I felt the pain of it as sharply as a knife. She fled, without a word, and I didn't see her for 2 terrible years. My connection to her, our soul forge, grew weaker. It was as though some third entity, a parasite, were atop our souls, sucking the strength from it day by day. We've a single order of business first and foremost. Leandra is gathering an army, and I fear we'll have to get through it if we wish to find her. But first, we must learn more about Leandra's plans. How many of these so-called Immaculates does she have in? Your journey must begin in the Lacula mines, where she has been accumulating materials and manpower for a purpose as yet unknown. The way will be dangerous. Her allies are growing more powerful and numerous by the minute, but we must discover exactly what Leandra is planning and why. A soul forge comes with its own benefits, Source Hunter. Though our connection has weakened, I still see the occasional vision of Leandra's doings, the pangs of one vision. I had thought it was only a nightmare, but now I see it was something much worse. Leandra is collecting materials, precisely what, I cannot say, and is hard at work shaping them into something sinister. Her frustrations are rivaled only by her mirth. I can see she's growing closer and closer to achieving something dire. You must make your way deep into the mines to see exactly what she's planning. I believe that our soul forge has been damaged. By what? I can only guess. The fraying of the bond between us has left Leandra adrift in a well of sorrow she truly believes will never end. What she needs is a hand, my hand, out of this abyss. If our soul forge is repaired, I am certain she'll cease blazing this path of destruction. I cannot condone the terrible things she's done, but I can seek to understand them. With our soul forge in such tatters, I believe Leandra is adrift in the not at all inconsiderable sorrows of our lives. What's more, I sense a terrible force bearing down upon the bond between us. It is hungry, and it consumes ever more of Leandra's mind and soul. I cannot say exactly what this force might be, but I'm certain it's both driving me out and driving Leandra on. If I could only repair the forge, I'm certain she'd put a stop to this madness. The way may be treacherous, but you must get inside. I fear my sister is doing something dreadful so far from the light of day. You both puzzle and delight me, Sir Ahu. To be man and cat both. Such an interesting life you lead.
You flatter me, my lady, but yes, I quite like to weave between two planes of existence, bound by mind and soul. There is a grandeur to it, if a humble one.
And trust me, dear lady, that grandeur humbles rather quickly when you see him groom himself.
I have seen the void.
What's the word, Source Hunter?
Confused spots after staring in the sun.
We are haunted by the same vision, my friend. The end of all visions. But only in the dark.
How can I help you, my friend?
Welcome back. The rock spirit within me greets the rock spirit within you. me the Earth's vibration.
May the goddess guide you through the forest and keep you safe.
These goblins are worse than the trolls.
Bits of that.
Goddess greetings, friend. Her greatness gave us fire, her greatness gave us earth, and my savvy brings you spells at the best rate in town. Come, give me your best offer.
Where the wind blows, the goddess breathes. Where the rivers run, the goddess weeps. How can I connect you to our eternal goddess?
Do you believe in the gods, baby? Because you're the answer to all my prayers.
Ever shot a bullseye in your sleep? Well, no wonder with your skill book as empty as all that.
Quite a fine skeleton beneath that hat.
You believe in the gods, baby? Because you're the answer to all my prayers.
You dare disturb my rumination? It must be that you can hardly wait to purchase an ingredient or two for a vet.
Oh, dear. You'll hardly impress the conduit with such a clouded look about your eyes. But not to fear. I've just the potion for that.
Oh. You haven't any ale, have ya? Well, never mind for now. What sort of magical relics can I offer ya? Blessed by the goddess they are, each and all.
Yes! I can feel the goddess's finger coursing through my very veins.
Why don't you stay a while, darling? I just know I could take you on a wild ride.
Do a salutoin, Hunter. What can I do for you? How goes search? Oh, I am ready to hang that. I will do my best to give answer, Source Hunter. Nothing natural could cause such terrible disease at mere touch. If you ask me, I say a terrible disease. It transforms flesh of living into flesh of corpse, while infected person still lives. Ha! I have no interest in those emasculates and their goddess. As Zalmoxis say in Book of Holy, may Zalmoxis strike him down, the murderer! I have one goal in Silver Glen.
Hello again. Or, you've probably noticed that my mother Nadia and I aren't from around here. No. We traveled rather far from our hometown to plant new roots here in Silver Glen. My father, Ben, his death was somewhat mysterious.
Blessed be! Welcome to Silver...
Hello again, Your Grace. On behalf of the Mining Guild, I thank you from the bottom of our humble hearts for your assist. Preposterous! What does that foreigner know about the affairs of Silver? Please, Your Grace, I am completely at your disposal.
Just look at it.
Troll toll! Troll toll, if you please. It may be pointless, life may be pointless, but the toll needs to be paid.
Good-for-nothing troll. Just stands there and mopes like a mule.
Remember when that redhead used to come by and cheer him up?
Oh, yeah. You know, I bet she was just feeling sorry for that whiny lump of toll-taking fat.
How could it be? My life is like the bridge behind me. It goes nowhere. Loneliness such as this, how it weighs. Dear me, why? I stand here day and night. Humans hate me, for I must take their gold for no good reason at all. Even among my own I find no companionship. Troll to once, though, I was happy. A girl, one of your very own kind, used to pass by daily. She was bright and young and gay. She smiled. She bade me good morning. She told me about it's all the goblins' fault. They cut the ropes to prevent you humans from going to the mines below. Ropeless, pointless, and yet I must cry for toll.
They'd make a feast out of old Fumble.
We ask for toll because our king commands us to. He is mad for gold. All his senses crave it. Gold is his life, and therefore it is my life too. Even though I care more for the daisies in the fields than I could ever care for cold, dead metal, no matter how pretty its lustre. He is the king of Lucula Forest, and a most formidable troll indeed. I do not even like to talk about him, for fear he might find out and crush my skull like a walnut. Archibald, though, Archibald may be willing to speak. His fine mind makes him bold. Find Archibald, a proud troll and troll father, if you wish to know. 1,000 gold coins, such is the toll I must ask. So, let's have the troll toll.
Good goddess above. Have you ever
No,
seen
we're not going to pay to cross a broken...
Indeed we are not.
So you will not pay? I can hardly blame you. Though the rules of toll-taking trolls leave me like she left me, my bonny lass. Would that another would come. Would that another would come and ask.
Just look at him. Asking toll. Bridge? Ridiculous.
Hasn't been paid in ages, has he? Might as well jump off the cliff for all the good he's doing.
I'm sure the goblins wouldn't mind. They could eat off him for weeks.
They'd make a feast out of old Fumble, all right. A veritable banquet of lard. Oh, yuck. Welcome, friend, to our sacred town. The conduit of...
I hope you haven't come for work in the mines. Overrun by goblins, they are. But what...
Troll toll. I do hope you don't mind. Troll toll. Troll toll. Leave me like
Don't look at me like that. It's not as though I'm enjoying this.
Troll toad. Why, oh, why? Troll toad.
If these villagers ever find out what Lawrence did, it's... Brandon's the best overseer there ever was. No one...
Ridiculous. I'm sure the goblins wouldn't mind. They could eat off him for weeks.
awaits you.
A stitch in time, eh, my friends? As good as a new penny.
Back on my feet again. A stitch in time, eh, my friends?
I invoke the fervor of flame! My kingdom for a dry shirt!